you for volunteering with Challenged Champions Equestrian Center. This video was created to supplement the volunteer training program at our facility. Following the completion of this video, please contact our volunteer coordinator to set up an in-person training session prior to your first time volunteering. Challenged Champions is an equestrian center established in 1997 as a nonprofit charitable organization. Our mission is to enrich and change the lives of children and adults with special needs through facilitated equine activities. Challenged Champions serves more than 400 veterans and individuals with special needs annually across 10 counties within Northwest Ohio. Horseback riding and other horse-related activities provide opportunities to promote physical, emotional, and mental development for each participant. Challenged Champions serves a large population of all ages, including but not limited to individuals with ADHD, Down syndrome, developmental delay, learning disability, multiple sclerosis, stroke, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, speech impairment, spina bifida, spinal cord injury, visual impairment, traumatic brain injury, and at-risk youth. Challenged Champions provides a multitude of services for individuals of many different needs. The primary service offered by our facility is therapeutic riding lessons, which are adaptive riding lessons offered in a group setting of up to 4 riders. Since this is the primary service offered, most volunteers help with therapeutic riding lessons. These lessons are tailored to the needs of each individual rider to help achieve their goals. Another service offered at Challenged Champions is hippotherapy, which is offered in one-on-one settings with the client and a licensed occupational, physical, or speech therapy practitioner. In these sessions, therapists use the horse's movement as a tool for the rider's integrated plan of care. Challenged Champions also offers a veterans program to teach veterans horsemanship skills such as grooming, handling, and riding. In addition, Challenged Champions provides additional community support by hosting school groups, nursing homes, hospice programs, day hab programs, and summer camps. Volunteer arrival. Volunteers can utilize our large parking lot upon arrival. Enter the main barn through the classroom door in the porch area in the front of the barn. All volunteers should arrive properly dressed. All large jewelry should be removed, and any long hair should be tied back and out of the way. Cell phones should be silenced and put away. Sturdy, comfortable, and closed-toed footwear should be worn to protect feet and avoid injury. Boots are encouraged if you own them. No open-toed shoes or Crocs are permitted. Pants are recommended, but shorts are permitted if this is what you are most comfortable wearing. Revealing or derogatory clothing should be avoided. Dress for the weather and wear clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. Be sure to arrive about 10 minutes early. Upon arrival, you will need to check the board for announcements and to see who you are assigned to work with that day. A list will be posted of who is riding in the lesson, which horse they are riding, who the horse leader will be, and who their sidewalkers are. Be sure to check in with the instructor or classroom attendant to let them know that you have arrived. Once your rider arrives, you can use this time to introduce yourself. The instructor will let you know how you can best assist your rider. Grooming and tack. At Challenged Champions, staff and knowledgeable volunteers will handle the grooming and tacking up of the horses. However, if you are a horse leader, you will be responsible for pulling horses out of their stalls for the lesson. Each horse has a stall card with their name and photo to help you identify them. Most riders use rainbow reins, which should be clipped to the upper corner of the square holes on the sides of their halter, ensuring that the clip is facing away from the horse. A lead rope, chain, and/or grazing muzzle may need to be used during a lesson. See an instructor if you need assistance attaching this equipment. If a horse is supposed to wear a bridle for the lesson, bring the horse out with the halter on while carrying the bridle with you, and the instructor will put the bridle on and take it off. Mounting procedures. Before mounting, each rider gets to groom their horses. Each horse has their own brush bag hanging on the wall, so riders will grab the bag and brush their horses for the first few minutes of their lesson. Sidewalkers will help the rider identify the correct bag and walk to their horse in the arena. Some riders may require extra assistance, such as pushing a wheelchair or holding their hand. Horse leaders will stand in front of the horse during grooming to prevent horse movement. Sidewalkers may assist the rider in grooming the horse, which may require hand-over-hand assistance. Sidewalkers also ensure the rider does not walk behind the horse, and that the rider stays up by the neck and shoulder area. Once grooming is finished, sidewalkers will accompany the rider to the waiting area as they prepare to mount. The assistance required for mounting depends on the needs of the rider. The instructor will oversee all mounting and will check the horse's tack before riders mount. Most riders will mount using our hydraulic lift. The rider and instructor will get on the lift, and if a sidewalker is needed, they will stand between two orange cones. If a rider needs a second sidewalker, they will be asked to either assist with mounting on the lift, or they will stand to the side until the rider is mounted with stirrups adjusted. The horse leader will lead the horse into the mounting area when the instructor says they are ready, and the horse will line up between the lift and the cones for mounting. Riders will generally be asked to place two hands on the front of the saddle, then swing their right leg over the horse. More independent riders can mount without assistance. However, some riders may need some extra assistance from the sidewalker in catching the right leg over the horse's back and guiding it into position. The instructor, sidewalkers, and leader should ensure that the rider is stable in the saddle before moving the horse. Once the rider is stable, the instructor will lower the lift to the ground, and once instructed, the horse leader will lead the horse into the arena and stop. The instructor will then adjust the rider's stirrups to the correct length, and once ready, the horse and rider will move on so that the process can be repeated for all other riders in the lesson. Some horses may be too big to go into our mounting area, and there are some riders who do not need the lift to mount. In these cases, a mounting block will be used to assist with mounting. An instructor will still be present for mounting, and the horse leader will still need to stand in front of the horse during the mounting process. If a sidewalker is needed, they will stand on the offside to assist. Otherwise, the mounting process should be similar unless the instructor tells you otherwise. Leading and sidewalking. The independence level of each rider varies at Challenged Champions. Some riders may need a leader and one or two sidewalkers, while others may ride independently with volunteers as spotters. Horse leaders should be comfortable working with horses. Horse leaders are responsible for where and how fast the horse goes, with direction from the instructor. When leading horses, the lead line should be held with two hands, and extra rope should be looped back and forth in one hand, never looped in a circle or wrapped around your hand. There are different leading styles that horse leaders may use, depending on the rider's needs. Some riders require active leading, in which the horse leader is totally responsible for directing the horse's movement. Some riders may require passive leading with the lead line on, in which the horse remains on the lead line, but the rider is the one giving the horse direction. Some riders will ride with passive leading with the lead line off, in which the lead line is removed, but the leader walks next to the horse, ready to assist when needed. For more independent riders, the leader will act as a spotter, standing in the center of the arena and always watching the rider. This will ensure that the spotter is ready to assist instantly if needed. This is an important job for independent riders to build their confidence and independence. The sidewalker's job is to ensure that the rider carries out directions from the instructor and to provide physical support when necessary. The sidewalker's focus is always on the rider. There are several methods of physical support that sidewalkers may provide. One level of support is the single arm lock. With this setup, the forearm closest to the rider is positioned over the rider's thigh, and the hand is holding onto the front of the saddle. The other method of physical support is the double arm lock. With this setup, the forearm closest to the rider lays over the rider's thigh and holding on to the front of the saddle. The hand of the opposite arm holds the rider's ankle or heel in place to assist in stabilizing the lower leg. Some riders may ride with a gait belt around their waist, and volunteers should hold on to the gait belt to assist with trunk support in the saddle. It is essential to note that with any physical support, you should try to avoid leaning onto the rider or the horse. For some riders, you may be asked to be a passive sidewalker, in which you will walk next to the horse and rider to assist with directions and offer the rider moral support. To limit distractions for the rider, sidewalker communication with the rider should not interfere with the lesson unless necessary. It is recommended to get to know your rider before the lesson starts to build rapport. However, all attention should be on the instructor once the rider is on the horse. As a volunteer, it is natural to want to help your rider however you can. Some riders may even require hand-over-hand assistance to complete a task. However, it is okay to let the riders try something on their own before stepping in and making their job easier. This will help to improve the rider's independence, and you will get to see their growth in the saddle with skills such as improved balance, motor control, trunk control, improved hand-eye coordination, improved speech, increased self-confidence, improved fine and gross motor skills, and improved emotional or sensory regulation. Sensory regulation. Some riders struggle with sensory regulation, or the ability to process and respond to sensory information within the environment. The farm environment is full of sensory stimuli, from the feeling of the horse's hair, to the smell of the hay, to the feeling of the horse's movement underneath the rider. Some riders are calmed by this sensory input, but others may be stressed by this input and react adversely. This is referred to as sensory dysregulation. Sensory dysregulation looks different in everyone, but signs may include changes in behavior, avoiding of sensory stimuli, and/or seeking out of sensory stimuli. There is no one way to help every rider struggling with sensory dysregulation. However, the instructors get to know each rider well and work with parents and caregivers to find the best way to meet these needs. This may include strategies such as having the rider take a break in the facility sensory room before or during their lesson, or by having the horse continuously moving, as this movement provides sensory input that the rider may be seeking. If you are interested in learning more about working with individuals with sensory processing difficulties on and off the horse, see the PowerPoint presentation linked to this video. Dismounting procedures. To dismount riders, all horses will be lined up in the middle of the arena facing the classroom. Only one rider dismounts at a time, and the instructor will oversee all dismounting procedures. When ready to dismount, the horse leader will stand in front of the horse to prevent movement. The right side sidewalker provides security and may need to assist with removing the rider's feet from the stirrups. They may also need to assist in making sure the right leg clears the horse's back. The instructor will work to guide the rider off the horse's back. If there are two sidewalkers for one rider, one may be asked to assist with retrieving and positioning wheelchairs, or with extra support in dismounting a rider. Once the rider is off, sidewalkers will accompany the rider back to the classroom and back to their caregivers. Once all riders are off their horses, horse leaders should check if their horses should stay in the arena for the next lesson, or if they can go back to their stalls. If a horse is being used for lessons again later in the day, but has a break, they can go back to their stall with their girth loosened and with their reins and lead line removed. If they are done for the day, all tack can be removed. See a staff member if you are unsure how to do this, or if you do not know where things go. Emergency procedures. Safety is the first priority at Challenged Champions, but sometimes unexpected things happen. Challenged Champions will practice their emergency dismount procedure with you when you arrive for in-person training. The instructor will always let volunteers know what the plan or expectation is in the event of an emergency. The safety of the rider comes first in an emergency. The horse leader should maintain full control of the horse throughout any emergency scenario. Leaders and sidewalkers should immediately notify the instructor if the horse is upset and the rider is very unbalanced or at risk of falling. While the leader handles the horse, the sidewalkers will help with a quick dismount. The offside handler helps clear the offside leg from the stirrup and over the horse's saddle and back. If the rider falls, the leader remains with the horse, and sidewalkers should assist to break the rider's fall if possible. All horse leaders must stop their horses in this situation, and the instructor will decide the next steps. If necessary, emergency services should be contacted. Emergency contact numbers are posted by the phone in the office or by the front door of the facility. A volunteer may be asked to get the first aid kit located in the restroom. Another volunteer may be asked to wait outside to direct EMS if the need arises. Volunteering with equine assisted services is such a rewarding experience and is made more rewarding when you're familiar with the job you have to do. Volunteers are essential to making sure that things run smoothly at Challenged Champions, and we thank you for dedicating your time to our riders.